Is there a unique presence that transcends words, making an unforgettable impact without seeking attention? Have you ever wondered why some individuals command a room simply by existing, their quiet power speaking volumes more than any shout? What if the discomfort others feel around you isn't a flaw, but a testament to your unyielding authenticity and deep truth? I'm your host, Alfred, and for today's video, we are going to talk about the reasons a Sigma female's energy is spiritually loud. Some people enter a room and speak volumes without opening their mouths. That's the kind of presence Sigma females carry. It's not loud in the traditional sense, it's spiritually loud. You feel it in your gut, in the silence, in the way she stands fully in herself without needing to prove anything. She's not chasing attention. Her energy commands it naturally because it's rooted in something deeper: truth, experience, and emotional clarity. A Sigma female doesn't need to make a scene. Her calm rattles the fake. Her stillness pulls you in. Her honesty cuts through surface-level interactions like a blade, and it's not because she's trying to intimidate anyone. She's just done pretending. She's lived through enough to know that authenticity is rare and peace is priceless. If you've ever felt like you're different, like the room gets quieter when you walk in, not because you're loud, but because your energy speaks louder than your words, chances are you're not broken. You're just a Sigma female. This video isn't about labels. It's about understanding why your energy often feels too much for shallow spaces, why people react strangely to your silence, and why you don't feel the need to chase what everyone else is chasing. You're not here to fit in. You're here to remind people who they really are, even if that makes them uncomfortable. And that right there is why your energy echoes louder than most voices ever could. Let's get started. Number 1, she's not light or dark, she's the full spectrum. Most people want to fit into neat little boxes, light or dark, soft or tough, peaceful or powerful. But Sigma females, they are the box and the fire inside it. You can't reduce them to just good vibes or one-dimensional positivity. That's not real life, and she knows it. Her energy is a whole universe of emotion, truth, and contradiction that somehow feels grounded and electrifying all at once. She doesn't pretend to be all light. She's not afraid of her darkness, her anger, or the parts of her that are still healing, and that's what makes her different, whole even. She can hold peace in one hand and fury in the other. She can laugh one minute, then go deep into quiet reflection the next. It's not mood swings, it's range, depth, raw humanity. She's not afraid to feel the heavy stuff. She's felt rage and grief that would have broken most people, but she never got stuck there. She allowed it, sat with it, learned from it. That's why her energy carries such weight. She's been through storms, not just sunny days, and she doesn't need to hide that to make other people comfortable. When you talk to her, you're not just talking to someone who gets it. You're talking to someone who lives it, who has made peace with her complexity, and that's why people feel both challenged and safe in her presence. She doesn't judge your mess because she knows her own. She's the type of woman who can sit with you in your joy and your sorrow without flinching. She's the one you call when the fake positivity crowd has nothing useful to offer. She doesn't need to be light or dark because she's learned how to carry both with grace. That's why she doesn't vibe. She resonates on every level, and that's what makes her unforgettable. Number 2, she's hardwired to detect bullshit, and it shows there's no pretending around a Sigma female. You can't charm her with smooth talk, hide behind a fake smile, or mask your intentions with pretty words. She'll see straight through it. And not only that, you'll feel her seeing through you. That's the part that makes people squirm. She doesn't need proof. She doesn't need receipts. Her intuition is sharp, fast, and terrifyingly accurate. This isn't something she tries to do, it's just how she's built. She walks into a room and instantly picks up on what's not being said. She notices the tension in someone's tone, the way a fake compliment doesn't match the body language, or how someone's energy doesn't line up with their words. And the craziest part, she doesn't even call it out. She just knows, and that knowing makes the pretenders panic. People who are used to wearing masks feel uncomfortable around her because they can sense that their cover won't hold up for long. Manipulators can't stand her because they can't play her. And those who thrive on approval or surface-level charm often find her energy too much. Not because she's loud, but because she's real. And realness can be confronting when you've built your whole identity on pretending. She doesn't go around trying to expose people, but her very presence forces others to reflect, to rethink, to realize they're not as slick as they thought. That's spiritual volume, not from how much she talks, but from how deeply she sees. So if you've ever wondered why some people seem nervous around you, or why fake ones fall off without warning, this is why your energy demands truth. And in a world full of filters, that kind of energy doesn't just stand out, it shakes people. You don't intimidate, you illuminate, and not everyone's ready for that. But that's not your problem. That's your power. Number 3, she's spiritually self-employed. A Sigma female doesn't follow trends, especially not when it comes to her soul. While everyone else is reposting feel-good quotes, chasing moon phases, or mimicking the latest spiritual aesthetic, she's somewhere in silence, facing herself without filters. Her spirituality didn't come from a retreat or a viral reel. It came from pain, loss, solitude, hard-earned self-awareness. She didn't download it. She bled for it. There's no guru she worships, no spiritual club she belongs to, no checklist of rituals she feels pressured to perform. Why? Because she doesn't need anyone else to translate her truth for her. She listens to her own instincts. Her wisdom is raw, often messy, and sometimes uncomfortable, but it's hers, and that's what makes it powerful. She's spiritually self-employed. She doesn't clock in for anyone else's version of enlightenment. She's not here to play positive vibes only or float above reality. She's here to own it, all of it. The dark nights, the breakthroughs, the moments of doubt, the moments of clarity. She didn't skip steps. She sat in the fire, and that kind of soul work, it shows. Her energy feels different because it is different. It didn't come from a book. It came from experience, brutal, honest, and sacred. That's why people feel something real when they're around her. No performance, no pretending, just a woman who's done the inner work and keeps doing it. People who rely on borrowed beliefs or surface-level spirituality don't know what to do with her. She doesn't speak in cliches. She doesn't need validation. She's not trying to appear spiritual. She's just living from a place of deep truth, and that's what makes her rare. Her path isn't polished, it's real. And in a world addicted to image, that kind of rawness doesn't just stand out, it radiates. Number 4, her energy doesn't apologize for being heavy. She knows her energy isn't light and fluffy. She knows it doesn't feel easy or instantly likable to everyone. And guess what? She's not here to be digestible. A Sigma female has spent too much time becoming real to now shrink herself into something people can casually scroll past. Her presence carries weight. Not because she tries to be intense, but because she is. The room changes when she walks in, not because she demands it, but because her spirit walks in first. You feel her long before she speaks. There's a gravity to her, something most people can't quite explain, but they feel it. And some don't like it, not because she's doing anything wrong, but because she reminds them of everything they're avoiding in themselves. She doesn't tone herself down to make others feel less threatened. She doesn't dilute her truth to fit into shallow conversations. She's not scared of silence, depth, or emotional honesty. And if that makes people uncomfortable, that's their discomfort to deal with. She's not for everyone, and that doesn't bother her in the slightest. In fact, she prefers it that way. Her frequency isn't built for surface-level interactions. It's built for people who are willing to meet her at the depth she lives in. Anything less than real. She'll quietly walk away, you see. Her energy has substance. It holds her experiences, her scars, her boundaries, her wisdom. It's heavy because it's earned, so she's not going to water it down for temporary acceptance. That's not power. That's people-pleasing. And she left that behind a long time ago. She's not intimidating. She's just no longer playing small. So if you ever feel her energy and it feels like too much, it probably is. But not because she's too heavy. It's because she's not fake, and not everyone's ready for real. Number 5, she's seen the underbelly of humanity and refused to rot there. Let's get one thing straight. Sigma females aren't mysterious because it's trendy. They're not deep because they read a few self-help books. They're deep because they've lived through hell and didn't let it hollow them out. She's seen the worst of people, the fake kindness, the betrayal behind the smile, the manipulation wrapped in love. She's had people try to break her, gaslight her, make her question her own worth. She's tasted the bitterness of abandonment and the weight of silence when she needed someone to show up. And through it all, she never rotted. There. She didn't let it poison her spirit. She looked into that darkness, into the ugliest parts of human nature, and instead of becoming it, she transcended it. She didn't pretend it wasn't real. She didn't sugarcoat it, but she also didn't let it define her. That kind of resilience, it doesn't whisper, it rumbles. Her energy carries that deep, grounded thunder, the kind that shakes people without her saying a word, because she's been through what others don't even want to admit exists, and she built a bridge out of it. Most people either fall into the abyss or try to deny it exists, not her. She stood there, faced it, and chose to rise. Chose healing over bitterness, chose peace over revenge, chose to keep her heart open, even if it bled. That's spiritual power, and it's why her presence feels so unshakable. You can't rattle someone who's already danced with destruction and came out wiser. You can't manipulate someone who's already seen every trick. She doesn't flaunt her scars, but they're there, etched into her soul, woven into her strength, and that quiet storm you feel when she enters a room. That's not ego. That's survival alchemized into spiritual thunder. She didn't just survive, she transformed. Number 6, she moves like she's guided by something you can't see. There's something about the way she moves through life that just doesn't make sense to most people. She doesn't chase what most people are chasing. She doesn't follow the popular narrative, and she definitely doesn't panic just because things look uncertain. While everyone else is obsessing over what's logical or safe, she's walking a completely different path, one that only she can see. Sigma females aren't driven by fear, trends, or status. Their decisions come from a place most people have never even visited. Deep, inner knowing. It's that gut feeling, that sharp intuition, that quiet voice inside that says, this is where you go, even if no one understands. And trust me, most people don't. She'll walk away from things that look perfect on paper because they don't feel right in her soul. She'll stay silent when others are yelling. She'll leap when there's no visible net and it throws people off. They can't figure her out. That's because she's not working from the same playbook. They're using logic, ego, or fear. She's following something sacred. That's why her energy feels so different. You can't touch it. You can't label it. You can't mimic it. It's not from the outside world. It's rooted in something unshakable on the inside. And when people sense that, it either inspires them or intimidates them. She's not reckless. She's aligned. Every step she takes is intentional, even if it doesn't make sense to others, because she knows something they don't. When you trust your inner compass, you don't need outside validation. That's why she moves the way she does, calm, steady, untouched by the noise. It's not arrogance, it's self-trust. It's spiritual sovereignty. And when you see her like that, unshaken, unbothered, and quietly powerful, you're not just looking at a woman, you're looking at a force. Number 7, her aura has no expiration date. Some people come and go, and within days their presence fades. You barely remember what they said, what they wore, or even how they made you feel. But a Sigma female, she stays, not physically, but energetically. You meet her once, and days later, she's still echoing in your mind, not because she tried to impress you, but because she was real, and in a world full of filters and performance, that kind of authenticity leaves a mark. You could have had a short conversation, maybe even just crossed paths, but something about her sticks. Her energy isn't loud or performative. It doesn't beg for attention or scream for approval. It just exists, confident, grounded, and unapologetically whole. And that's rare. That's what people can't forget. See, she doesn't rely on surface tricks to be memorable. It's not about looks, charisma, or flashy moments. It's the truth in her presence. It's the way she makes you feel seen without judging you. The way she holds her silence like it's speaking. The way her eyes say more than most people's paragraphs. You feel her long after she's gone because her energy isn't something you just witness. It's something you experience. And once you've felt it, everything else feels a little more fake, a little more hollow. She haunts, not like a ghost, but like a truth you didn't know you were starving for. You don't forget a woman like that. You remember how you felt when you stood next to someone who didn't need anything from you, who was whole on her own. That's not common anymore. That's why it lingers. Her aura doesn't have an expiration date because it was never about attention. It was always about impact, and impact like hers, it echoes. Number 8, she breaks patterns, not people. A Sigma female doesn't show up to destroy people. She shows up and unintentionally destroys illusions. Her presence doesn't attack anyone directly, but it triggers everything that's built on lies, ego, and comfort zones. She doesn't have to call anyone out. Her energy does it for her. She's not loud, not confrontational, not out to prove a point. But the moment she walks in, things shift. People start second-guessing the things they've always accepted. They notice cracks in their friendships. They question the roles they're playing. They start wondering, why am I doing this? And the answer often makes them uncomfortable. That's her power. She doesn't tear people down. She just wakes them up. She holds a mirror without saying a word. Her confidence, her boundaries, her refusal to play pretend. It exposes everything around her that's fake or fragile. And when that happens, people usually react in two ways. They grow or they run. She won't guilt you. She won't shame you, but her presence will challenge you, not in a way that bruises your ego, but in a way that makes you realize you've been shrinking yourself, hiding your truth, or surrounding yourself with things that drain your soul. She doesn't break people. She breaks the patterns that keep them asleep. And that's what makes her unforgettable, because after you've been around her, it's hard to go back to pretending. Hard to stay numb. Hard to keep tolerating things that don't align with who you really are. She may not even speak a word about it, but her energy whispers truth in places you've ignored for years. She doesn't force change. She activates it. So if she's ever crossed your path and your life started unraveling afterward, that wasn't chaos. That was clarity. Number 9, she knows most people aren't ready for her, and she's done shrinking. Let's be clear. Sigma females are not misunderstood. That would imply people are trying and just missing the mark. But the truth is harsher. Most people don't even try to understand them. Why? Because they know they can't fake it around her. They can't wear masks. They can't coast on charm. She sees too much, too fast. And that unsettles the ones who rely on surface-level acceptance to feel worthy. She's not some misunderstood mystery. She's just avoided intentionally by people who don't want to face their own reflection. That's not rejection. That's spiritual filtering. Her presence naturally separates the real from the fake. People who crave validation without growth, they'll keep their distance. People who are all talk and no depth, they'll say she's too intense, too distant, too much. But what they really mean is they weren't ready to be seen. For a long time. She might have taken this personally, tried to soften herself, tried to fit in rooms she was never meant to be in, tried to shrink just enough to make others feel tall, but not anymore. She's done with all that. Now she lets the filtering happen. If someone walks away, that's alignment. If someone can't hold her truth, that's clarity. If her energy is too much for them, that just means they were never meant to carry it. She no longer edits herself to make people stay. She no longer tones herself down to avoid being too real. She knows what she carries, and she knows it's not meant for just one, because she's not here to be palatable. She's here to be true, and the right ones, they won't be scared off. They'll be drawn in, not by performance, but by presence. She's not shrinking anymore. She's expanding and letting the universe handle the sorting. Number 10, she doesn't just observe, she sees through. There's a difference between watching people and seeing them. Most people read body language, facial expressions, or tone to figure someone out. A Sigma female doesn't need all that. She doesn't guess. She knows. The moment you step into her space, she starts reading energy, not performance. That's why people feel exposed around her, even when she hasn't said a word. She doesn't just observe people, she dissects them. Her gaze isn't aggressive, but it's sharp, surgical even. She can see through masks, fake smiles, and pretty words without breaking a sweat. While most people are busy reacting to what someone shows, she's clocked what they're hiding. In seconds, she'll spot insecurity behind arrogance, emptiness behind charm, and pain behind perfection. And the scariest part, she's not even trying to expose anyone. It just happens. People who rely on performance, who build their identity around image, hate being around her. Not because she says anything harsh, but because she sees them in ways they're not ready to face. She holds up a mirror without lifting a finger, and that kind of reflection. It makes people uncomfortable. It haunts the fake. It strips away the small talk. That's why her energy is unforgettable. She doesn't have to speak to make people feel seen, not the flattering feel-good kind of seen, but the real, raw, no place to hide kind, and those who have something to prove or pretend. They either run or try to overcompensate. It never works. Being in her presence forces truth to rise, not because she demands it, but because her energy requires it. She's not nosy. She's naturally tuned into what others try to mute, and once she sees it, she doesn't unsee it. So when you feel her watching, it's not judgment, it's clarity. She's not looking at you, she's looking through you, and most people aren't ready for that kind of honesty. Number 11, she doesn't beg to be seen. She forces self-reflection. A Sigma female doesn't try to be the center of attention, but somehow all eyes find her. Not because she's loud, flashy, or desperate to be noticed, but because her presence stirs something deep in people. She's the type of woman you don't forget, not because of what she wore or even what she said, but because of how she made you feel. And here's the truth most people won't admit. Being around her can be uncomfortable, not in a bad way, but in a way that forces you to confront yourself. She doesn't sugarcoat her energy. She doesn't pretend to be someone else to make you feel safe. She's unapologetically herself, and that kind of authenticity acts like a mirror. If you're fake, insecure, or hiding behind a mask, her presence will expose it, not by calling you out, but by making you feel seen without a word. She's not trying to impress you. She's not playing social games, and she damn sure isn't begging to be validated. But somehow, just being near her makes people start asking themselves hard questions. Am I being real? Am I saying what I mean? Am I living the truth or just acting like I am? That's the quiet power of a Sigma female. She doesn't enter a room to dominate, but once she's there, the energy shifts. People adjust. They get quieter, more thoughtful, and it's not because she demands it, it's because her energy commands it. She doesn't force attention. She forces self-reflection. And that's why people remember her, not as the loud one or the pretty one, but as the one who made them feel something raw and real. Being seen by her is rare. Being understood by her is even rarer. And if you ever get the chance, don't waste it, because her energy doesn't just notice you, it reveals you in final words. You don't have to scream to be felt. You just have to be real. That's the truth of the Sigma female. Her energy isn't loud because she's chasing attention. It's loud because it carries weight. A weight that comes from doing the inner work, choosing integrity over approval, solitude over noise, and truth over image. She doesn't need to be in every room. She doesn't need a spotlight. People feel her even when she's silent because her presence holds layers. Pain, she's turned into power. Doubt, she's refined into clarity. Stillness, she's used to listen, observe, rebuild. That's why her energy speaks before she does. It's why she unnerves people who wear masks, why she wakes people up without trying, and why her aura lingers long after she's gone. If you're a Sigma female or becoming one, here's what you need to know. You weren't built to fit in. You were wired to cut through the noise. You weren't made to please. You were born to reflect what's real. And yes, your energy might be too much for some, but that's only because they've never met someone who doesn't need their permission to exist. Keep protecting your peace. Keep sharpening your instincts. Keep holding space for both your shadows and your light. You don't need to tone it down. You just need to stay true to what already makes you unforgettable, that raw, steady, spiritually loud energy that doesn't chase validation. It commands respect. Number 12. She finds power in deliberate solitude. Unlike others who constantly seek external validation or fill their lives with noise, A Sigma female understands that true growth and self-discovery blossom in moments of quiet introspection. She deliberately carves out time for herself, not out of isolation, but out of a profound need to connect with her inner compass, refine her thoughts, and recharge her spirit away from the demands and distractions of the world. This solitude isn't a weakness. It's a deliberate choice that fortifies her strength and clarifies her purpose, making her presence even more impactful when she re-engages with the world. Number 13. She inspires uncomfortable honesty in others. A Sigma female's authenticity is so potent that it often compels those around her to drop their pretenses, even if it's painful. She doesn't demand honesty, but her inherent realness creates an environment where fakery feels unbearable. People might initially feel exposed or challenged by this, but ultimately her presence serves as a catalyst for others to confront their own truths and shed the masks they wear. She's not seeking to change anyone, but her unwavering commitment to her own reality naturally encourages a similar level of integrity in her interactions, often leading to profound, if sometimes difficult, self-realization for those who cross her path. The Sigma female's energy is a powerful force, stemming from her deep authenticity, inner work, and refusal to conform. She doesn't seek attention, yet her presence leaves an indelible mark, challenging those around her to be more real and true to themselves. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment.